Blytheley, and this is my horse Richie. I've been an equestrian performer for nearly 20 years now, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about trick riding and what goes on behind the scenes, the welfare and the training of the trick riding horse. Today I've been given a great opportunity to share with you a little bit of our inside world and give you an insight to how we train the trick riding horse and a little bit about the welfare and how we look after them backstage. So it's very important to us that our horses are not only just trick riding. Just like a show jumper would, we spend a lot of time on the flat work. Now, admittedly, not many of us are dressage riders, but that doesn't mean that we can't use the basic exercises and lateral work to help our horses become healthy, supple, and flexible athletes. Examples of exercises that we could use to help our horses become fit and supple are simple things such as various different transitions from walk to trot, trot to canter, walk to canter, canter to walk, and so on. We can try different exercises such as figures of eights, serpentines, 10-meter circles, 15 and 20-meter circles to help with the suppleness and the balance of the horse. We can try different movements in lateral work such as shoulder in, shoulder out, maybe even leg yield. All these various different exercises that can create a healthy, happy, supple athlete, and it makes Communication is vital, obviously, between horse and rider, and unlike other disciplines, we don't quite have the same privilege that we can use our seat, our legs and our hands to communicate with our horse. As we spend 90% of the time outside the saddle, we need to find another way to communicate. So how do we do it? So we take two steps. The first step would be to teach the horse some very basic neck reining and to lose the contact. And also we want to teach our horses to voice commands. So we'd use commands such as up for him to come up into the canter or the gallop. And we'd use the words such as oh or something similar, maybe a whistle, to ask the horse to slow down. When we're teaching the horse to run with no hands and legs, what we're essentially looking for is that the horse doesn't lose the rhythm. Whether that's a slow canter or a fast canter, what we don't want is for once we've dropped the reins, is for them to either run away with us or collapse in a heap. A good example of why voice commands are so useful to the trick rider is for some tricks, we might be halfway prepared into a trick before we've even taken off. So for example, my feet might be strapped to the top of the saddle, which means I won't be able to use my legs to ask him to come into the canter. Another good reason is simply for safety. Being able to slow your horse down with your voice means two things. One, I won't crash into my teammates, but also if for some very unfortunate reason I got stuck in a trick, which doesn't happen very often, but it is possible, it means I can use my voice to slow down and stop my horse, giving my teammates a chance to catch my horse and pop me back into the saddle. Oh, super. Good job, baby. Good boy. Let's talk about barrel training. Barrel training is a very important tool for any trick rider. Firstly, because it's a lot safer when you are learning to trick ride or you're practicing a new trick. Secondly, because it gives you time to work on yourself and your technique without having to worry about what the horse is doing. And thirdly, and far more importantly, it gives you time to practice without wasting your horse's energy. And this is why barrel training is so vital to any trick rider. So let's talk a little bit about trick riding saddles. There's been a huge evolution in the world of trick riding, and there's many different types of trick riding saddles out there on the market today, and you will not find two the same. All trick riding saddles are essentially unique to the rider, and as time progresses, you'll find that riders will change their saddles and adapt their saddles to the different types of tricks that they're doing, whether that's removing straps or adding straps or maybe changing stirrups and so on. You'll not find, as I say, two trick riding saddles the same. Now, obviously, our trick riding saddles are very different to the conventional riding saddle. Without trying to go into too much detail, obviously we have a horn and a back handle, but I think the bigger difference for us is that we have 3 girths or 2 cinches depending on the type of saddle. And the reason for this is as we're hanging off the side or hanging upside down or even jumping from side to side from the saddle, it's obviously giving us just that little bit of extra security and stopping the saddle from slipping around with us. Now, trick riding saddles are not fitted to our horses, and this is simply because as professional trick riders, we will move through our careers from jobs to jobs and ride various different horses, so it's almost impossible to have a custom fitting trick saddle to the horse, simply because as trick riders we need our own saddles with our own personal straps on them to perform our own tricks. Now, that's not to say we can't trick ride in each other's saddles, of course we can, but to perform to our best, it's really vital that you have your own saddle and you can customize it to your tricks and the way that you like to trick ride. Which sort of style trick riding saddle works best? Well, it depends on the individual rider. For example, I like my American saddle because it allows me to have many different types of straps and do figures that I wouldn't be able to do in the European saddle. On the other hand, the European saddle is fantastic for vaulting, as well as strap tricks, but it also has a more kind of dressage style seat, so it's more comfortable to sit in also. If someone was looking to do more Jiggy Tofka style trick riding or even circus trick riding, then it would be worth looking at the Russian Cossack style saddle. So it's really just personal preference. You really cannot go wrong with any style saddle, so it's really just a case of what you believe would suit you best. So guys, I'm going to give you a very short and very brief kind of step-by-step of how we train the trick riding horse. When they first come under saddle, we start by moving our legs around, waving our hands around, moving in the saddle from side to side, and just getting them kind of desensitized and used to the idea that us moving around is not going to cause them any form of harm. Richie here is incredibly honest, and I don't think has ever had a bad day in his life, so he's very, very unbothered by my strange antics to him here. But usually I would have somebody holding on to the horse just for safety purposes. Once we've done a few exercises and we feel the horse is comfortable at standstill, we will take them out onto the circle. Depending on the character, maybe we'd pop them on a lunge line if we felt them a little bit too sharp, and we'd repeat the same exercises in walk. And once we find the horses are comfortable with us moving around in the walk and doing simple figures, then we'll pop them up into the canter. Now, some trick riders do train their horses in trot, but myself, and I know plenty of other trick riders, simply jump straight up into the canter. For me, it's a personal preference. I just feel like the horses find it a lot easier and it's a lot more comfortable for us to just go directly into the canter. But you can train your horses in trot as well, if you'd like to. So when you're teaching a new trick, every trick is different, but just to give you an example, this is my first time of teaching Richie how to do the hippodrome, which is where I stand up. So I break everything down for him. I don't just simply put my feet in the straps and stand directly up. I put my feet in the straps, I stand up a little bit, I give him a pat, reassure him, maybe I wiggle my feet around and I come back down, and then I repeat again. I come up a little bit, and because I feel him comfortable, I've stood up. I'm just moving my hands around to see any form of reaction, and as usual, because he's so wonderful, he's not bothered at all, bless his heart. But obviously, every horse is different. Some will take to this like a duck to water, other horses will take a bit more time and a bit more sensitivity. And once I feel him comfortable, I'll ask him to come into the walk. Now, Richie has given us a great example of why it's so important to teach the horses to voice command, because I haven't got my legs to push him on, so I'm using my voice, and he's got slightly confused and tried to give me jambette. So, using my voice a little bit stronger, and I'm just trying to guide him with my hands, I finally managed to get him into the walk. Now I'm walking. Again, I will repeat the same. I will come halfway up, talk to him, I'll reassure him, and then when I'm ready, I will sit back down. And when I'm ready, I will come back up again. So everything is little by little and step by step. There's no rush for me to stand up directly. This will come all in good time. And the more time you spend reassuring your horse that everything will be fine, the better and more confident trick riding horse you'll have in the end. So now you can see that I'm starting to go faster into the stand-up and not breaking it down quite as fast as he's becoming more confident and I'm becoming more confident with him. Now I'm going to take it a step further to move my arms around. I feel confident now that he's ready, so I'm going to ask him to pop up into a canter. Now, it's not the most elegant trick to be demonstrating to you, but it is a good example of how we break the tricks down step by step to train the horse. And as I say, it's not like this for every single trick, but it gives you a good example. So I'm in the canter, I'm halfway up. I'm having a feel to make sure he keeps his rhythm, and I come down. I don't want to be up there too long. I want to be up there just enough time to feel how he's running and come back down just in good time to say, that was just what I wanted, perfect. And I can ask a little bit longer the next time. And as he's done such a good job, I'm now going to bring him back down into the walk to give him time to rest and to say thank you to him. So we are back into canter, and I'm going to do my best to stand straight up here. Now this is the very first time, so I'm not overly confident and my position is not great, but the important step here is that he is confident and he's absolutely cracking. He didn't change rhythm. This is a really good start. So I've sat back down and we're going to bring him back into a walk to say thank you, and we'll work on that another day. Richie has been training for just less than a month, so here's a few clips of Richie's training for you guys to enjoy and to see how he's getting along. So guys, as this video is coming to an end, I have some frequently asked questions to answer for you guys. How can I become a trick rider? This is actually possibly my most common question, and I think I get this question in my inbox at least once a week. And I also have a YouTube on this video on this topic, if you want to go and have a look. Really simple. Ask somebody where you can go to learn. Most trick riders will say, come and have a go with us. And if they cannot provide you with lessons, then hopefully they'll pass you on to somebody that can. So if you're following trick riders on Instagram or Facebook or even myself, drop us a message. Don't be afraid to ask us, and we will do our best to either teach you ourselves or recommend you to somebody that can in your area. This question I get asked a lot. Yes, it does help to be physically fit. It does help if you have a good cardio, but you don't have to be a crazy bodybuilder to be a trick rider. I am certainly not. Of course, physical fitness and cardio does help, and flexibility does help. But again, not many trick riders are as flexible as you think they are. All of these things help. It depends again on how professional you want to take this. If you just want to trick ride for fun, then there's no need to have. You don't need to have extraordinary superpowers. But obviously, the more professional and the better you want to be, then obviously these things you do have to work on more and more. But again, you don't have to be a crazy bodybuilder. My exercise generally is general yard work duties and mucking out stables every day. I am not somebody that goes to the gym, and I do enjoy a McDonald's. So yeah, everything in good moderation. What breed? So I'm going to say the industry generally prefers or kind of leans more towards the Iberian horses. So the Spanish and the Lusitanos are generally preferred for two very good reasons. Firstly, because of their conformation and brain. They are fabulous horses. They're nice and strong. They're always around the right sort of height. And they have that they have a good natural way of wanting to work, these horses, but also I think I'm going to say more importantly, but it's not more important, it's just that they're really good natural showmen. They're very proud type of horses, and you know, they like to show off and they enjoy the arena, and they really do tend to enjoy the applause. But that is not to say that any other horse cannot trick ride. My own horse is Welsh. I've seen Gypsy Vanners, Friesians, Clydesdales, Thoroughbreds, quarter horses, paint horses. I've seen a Norwegian Forge, and Arabs. So all sorts of horses can trick ride. It's not to say it has to be a particular type of horse. It's just personal preference, and I guess what you have to work with. Where to buy a trick riding saddle? So the first thing I will say is always seek professional advice, always. Trick riding saddles are very unique to their riders. You won't find two trick riding saddles the same. So kind of try to gather as much information as possible so you know what kind of saddle you would like, because there are many different types out there now. And as time goes on, kind of expect that you will kind of remove things from the saddle and add things from the saddle as you start to kind of learn and develop as a trick rider. But I will say always seek professional advice when looking to buy a trick riding saddle. Mindset with trick riding. I think everybody has their different ways. A lot of trick riders actually just enjoy to chase the adrenaline rush, but it's like anything. Taking show jumping for an example, somebody that's never show jumped before will not go and jump a 1.40 meter fence, and it's just the same as trick riders. We don't just strap you on and make you hang upside down and cut you loose. We start everything at standstill first, and then into walk, and then eventually into canter on the lunge when you feel good and ready. And once we feel you're confident, you feel confident enough and that you have the technique down, we'll take you off the lunge and you'll go from there. So it's really, you can build up in your own time. It's not a case of you have to learn that one trick in the day. For a good example, I'm still struggling with shoulder stand, which in our world is actually a relatively easy trick, but for some reason I have a little bit of a mental block with this trick, and this happens to every single trick rider with different tricks through their careers. So Everyone has their different ways with mindset, as I say, but there's no rush to learn to trick ride. You know, you can take it nice and slowly, and you can just build up as you feel good and confident and ready. How many times a week do we train for trick riding? I think that really depends on the rider. Personally, I train 2, maximum 3 times a week for trick riding, but it also kind of depends on the season, if the show season is coming up, because obviously we do more shows and less training. But yeah, generally I try to aim to train trick riding maybe twice a week, 3 times at most. So I wouldn't actually say this is so much of a frequently asked question, but I do think it's a really good one to breach on. I think there's a huge misconception that trick riding horses all suffer with bad backs, and this really isn't the case. I've been fortunate enough that I've had 2 very professional chiropractors and several physios to my horses over the years, and all of them have come away really pleasantly surprised with what good condition the horses' backs are in. And I think just like us, I think 1, they're possibly a lot tougher than we give them credit for, and 2, with good schooling and good exercises and working on flexibility, balance and suppleness, we just keep them as all-round good, healthy, flexible animals. And if they do need time off or they do need some extra care and attention, then of course they get it. They're not only our partners in work, but they're our pets, they're our families. So of course we have to do everything we can to take good care and attention to them, because at the end of the day, they are the stars of our shows. It's not us, it's them that are the stars of the shows. And if we don't look after them, then they can't look after us. So it's really as simple as that. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you managed to learn a little bit of something from it. If you'd like to find out more about me, please do go and visit my website. And I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and I have my own YouTube channel. So if you'd like to follow my story as an equestrian artist, please do follow the links and go check them out over there. And any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. So please, by all means, send me a message and I will do my best to answer.